Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I am Jason. He is Zach. How you doing, sir?
This is our fifth podcast in 2 days.
We are just...
We might have a problem.
Hey, it's been awesome, though, interviewing all these guys that are getting ready to fight on November 14th. It's been awesome.
Well, this is what we set, this is kind of what we set the podcast up for.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, from the beginning, this podcast was supposed to be for the fighters to help promote their fights. And then the Rona happened and there hasn't been local fights. So we've just made do with the UFC fights, and thank goodness for that. It's given us something to talk about and MMA news and stuff. But the reason why we started this was for the fighters. So it's really fun to kind of get back to the whole point of why we started this podcast. And I feel like we're finally getting there, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been
just giving these guys an opportunity to come on, shout out their sponsors, hearing people that I have watched fight, but I haven't got a chance to meet yet, and just hearing them and hearing their stories and hearing about their training. And
different perspectives on MMA too.
Yeah, really interesting. We just had Steve Sharp on, he's a throwback, and the guy's been in the game for 17 years. He's an old school Utah MMA guy. We just had him on. He'll be back fighting on November 14th.
Jeez.
Yes.
I'm excited. Steve freaking Sharp, man.
So Rona or not, we're making this happen.
Yeah.
I'll have my test back in 2 days, by the way.
You for sure have it.
Dude, they stick that freaking swab up in your brain.
I'd pay so much money to watch that video.
I think it was like this. It was bad. Yeah. I think my eyes were literally watering for 5 minutes at least after.
Well,
but
you'll be fine.
I'm home. I'm in bed. Well, I'm not in bed right now because we're recording, but you get it.
You're a Marine. I think you'll be just fine.
Suck it up, jarhead.
That's right.
Big fight card again this weekend. Once again, another big fight card.
Not highlighted with a bunch of names.
The main event, though, is one that I think a lot of people want to see.
The main event is dude.
Where do you want to start at?
Sign me all the way up. We'll start on the prelims.
The first fight is a guy with the last name of Nurmagomedov.
Cousin of Khabib.
I don't think he's his cousin. I don't think they're blood related.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Is he? I thought I read something that said he's not, but he.
Let's see.
Do we bet against him? I don't think we do we?
Oh, no, just kidding. You're right.
I've been doing my research, Zach.
Oh, it's about time. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, when we're doing these podcasts with these other guys from England and Minnesota and Canada, and these guys have all their breakdowns and they know how many times a guy pees during the day. It's like, shit.
Okay, but is it safe to say that Saeed probably knows how to wrestle?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I care about.
Do we even really need to break that fight down? Because we both know who we're picking, right?
We don't bet against Russians.
No. We had a little slip up a couple weeks ago where a couple guys lost, but I think we rebounded last weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty easily.
Yeah. No, we did good last weekend. We did really good.
Next fight up was Maxim Grishin against Antagulov. What do you think about that one?
Hold on. I'm pulling up the odds here. Well, Max Griffin is a big favorite. Maxim Grisham is a big favorite, and it's favored to go under a round and a half. Ooh. So that would suggest that Maxim Grisham is going to smash this dude.
I think he does I think he does. You know what? What's crazy is Antagulov, he had a bright future. The guy has the talent, but he just can't quite string it together. He started off in the UFC 2-0.
3-0.
Was he 3-0 in the UFC?
Nope, 2-0. You're right, 2-0.
2-0. I'm on a roll today, Zach. See what researching does for you?
Your head's getting bigger. The medicine's getting to you.
It's the medicine. But then he has two dud fights. He loses round one in 44 seconds I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's last name, but anyways, he lost. And then he gets triangle choked against Paul Craig back in July.
3 fights.
Yeah.
3 fights.
3 fights in a row. Kutalilaba. And they're all round 1 finishes that he gets finished in round 1.
Do you think that's a mental thing?
I would probably have to say yeah.
So this is really interesting to me. Is Maxim, he was the, is this the guy that he won the PFL at 205? It looks like he won it.
I believe he did.
Yeah,
he tore through the PFL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Had a draw. He took that short notice. He took a short notice fight at heavyweight back in July against Tabira, and he lost. Tabira kind of handled him, but once again,
he's a 205er, and he's
a 205er. Took a short notice fight. Now he's he's at his right weight class. I think he gets this one done.
Is this a lock of the night? Might be
I don't know.
Might be a lock.
Think so? What's the odds? What's the odds on that one?
Minus 355. That's a lock.
Well, I've seen worse happen.
Yeah, but that's happening. I mean, Saeed Nurmagomedov is minus 140.
Yeah,
so we're gonna see Nurmagomedov mop, Maxim Grisham mop. Who do you like in this next fight? Freeze,
Zayam and Malarkey. I think Zayam gets it done, but I think this is going to be a great fight.
So this is our first competitive fight.
They're very evenly matched, and if I'm not mistaken, odds are pretty close on this one. Yeah,
Malarkey's a minus 140, so Zaim's a slight underdog at plus 110. But I mean, that's you're splitting hairs here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the first. Not to say these other ones aren't going to be good, but I think this is going to be your first real competitive fight on the card.
Well, you have Malarkey, who's 0-1 in the UFC, fighting Faraz Zayam, who is 0-1 in the UFC. Man, similar records.
Who do you like in that one?
I think I'm with you. I think I like Faraz Zayam a little bit. I don't know. This guy's a finisher, dude. Jamie Malarkey, he's finishing all of his fights. Yeah, I'm going to go with the favorite on this one.
You're going to go with favorite?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to go Malarkey.
He did that fight he had with Riddell was fireworks. It was a damn good fight, even though he lost.
It was a really good fight, and I do remember that fight, and that was a really good fight. So
he's probably fought a little bit better competition, so you're probably right on that one. I don't know why I'm taking the underdog in this one, but
yeah, I like the competition.
He's fought Volkanovski a couple years ago,
mm-hmm.
Not in the UFC, but it was 3 years ago.
Yep.
All right, so
and he's probably one of those city kickboxing guys, right?
Is Malarkey a city kickboxing guy now? Let's look at his.
Mangus
martial arts. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
But he's from that area, so.
Well, I think we both agree on this one, the 185er. I think we agree that John Phillips is in a world of trouble.
I think he is in a world of trouble. I think Young Park is going to do some damage. I haven't been that impressed with John Phillips, honestly.
I feel like he's been a little bit underwhelming. He's definitely got the record and the experience, but obviously he had a really rough night against Chimaev. That was
as everybody has.
That's rough. But he had his win in the UFC. His one win in the UFC was an overhand knockout right at the beginning of the fight. I mean, so he obviously carries power, but at 185, you should be carrying some power.
Look at Buzz. Buzz. I ain't beating up anybody, Buzz. I'm too old and I'm too slow.
Buzz. Maybe we should set up an exhibition of Jason Laporte versus Matt Euler.
No, Matt trains every day. I don't train fighting.
You're a bodybuilder. Open weight.
Can we have a bench pressing competition or like a push-up competition or something?
That too. In conjunction.
You know why he said that, right? Did you see Matt's post earlier?
No.
He's saying bodybuilders aren't athletes. So it's got a lot of.
Okay, we're going to digress from the fight card then for a second. What's your take on that?
As far as I do agree that it's a sport. Like, obviously it's a sport. As far as an athlete, when I think of athlete, I think of people who, and bodybuilders do compete as well. But when I think of athletes, I think of football. I think of basketball. I think of boxing. Those, to me, those are athletes. Is bodybuilding a sport? You're damn right, it's a sport. And I'd venture to say it's up there with one of the harder sports to compete at a high level. Anybody can do it on a local level, but as far as at an elite level, you just have to be at a different place.
So, I don't want to be, by no means disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. A slap contest. It's to me, because like the perception of athlete, sport, competing, I think you can pretty much take any capable man, and if he has the discipline to do what it takes, he could become a bodybuilder, a professional bodybuilder, a successful professional bodybuilder. Is that right? Is that fair?
That's fair.
I don't feel like any capable man can have the discipline to be an NBA player.
But he could be a fighter. Yeah, that's
fair. Because look at me.
I think there's a lot of similarities that and we've talked about it on the podcast. It's like when you go into fight camp, there's a lot of similarities in a fight camp and a bodybuilding prep. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of shit from this, but
not for me.
Other than I'm not getting punched in the face, but I'm at the gym every day.
Yep.
I'm waking up at morning, 5 in the morning, sometimes earlier, to get in my cardio. I'm doing my cardio again at night before I go to bed. My meals are prepped. I'm on a strict regimen. I have a coach. Like, there's a lot of similarities there. It's just, I wouldn't say it takes any kind of skill to be a bodybuilder. Like, you don't have to have some special skill. Like, when you're fighting, you have to learn a skill. You have to go in there and learn jiu-jitsu and learn how to strike, because there's a big difference in me going in there and sparring with you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that. Like, I just, there's a big difference in that. But as far as the competition part of it and the getting ready for it,
and my buddy who is here, but gratefully doesn't listen to this podcast because he'd lose his mind if he heard me say it. Like golf, like I don't think you have to be a good athlete to be a golfer. You have to be very good at your skill, right? That's a skill. Yeah. But you don't have to be athletic to be a good golfer.
What about Buzz? A good point. Yeah, you do have to have good technique in there. Yeah,
that's fair. So, because like where I give like bodybuilding, and here's the other thing, because like you said, like athleticism, being an athlete and athleticism are different things. Because when I think of what does it take to be an athlete, it's not your God-given ability; it's your discipline. It's like you said, it's your prep work. It's the mental aspect. It's the putting in the hard work, staying, being the last guy there, being the first one there and the last guy. That's what elite athletes do. Yeah. But athleticism is, like you said, when you think of basketball players, football players, the running, the jumping, the athleticism that they have, elite athleticism they have on the field. But to be an athlete, I think bodybuilding would be considered a sport.
I think it would be considered a sport for sure, 100%.
And you'd be an athlete to do it because of those traits, discipline, all that stuff.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Somebody brought up a good comment about how unhealthy it is, especially at that elite level bodybuilding. Let's face it, you're at your unhealthiest point. But you could also say that about football. You could say that about fighting. You could say that about boxing. Like these are, dangerous. Maybe the word unhealthy is not there, but it could be, because you're sitting there getting punched in the face in boxing for 12 rounds. Like football players, head injuries. It's just such a fine line. I guess. It depends on where you stand on it. I think if you find a sport that you like, or if you find something that you can commit yourself to, and that it's helping it's helping to better you in life, like having something to go to every day to push yourself. Does that make sense? Like,
and it makes you a better person for sure.
It just makes you a better all around person. I mean, look at you before you started before you got into MMA.
My quality of life is a billion times better.
100 times better. All because you got into a sport that you love and you're committed to, and it's built relationships. It's probably helped business.
1,000,000%.
It's probably pissed your wife off a few times.
It's fair.
Yeah.
But there's this. I think that's where I'll stick with it is being an athlete. Absolutely, Buzz. Olympians are athletes.
100%.
Because being an athlete is, to me, more about being disciplined. Doing the right things. No, not always needing a coach dragging you to the practice or doing the necessary steps. That's what part of being an athlete is. Being an athlete and being athletic are it's different to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting question, and Matt got a lot of comments on that post.
I'm sure he did.
I told him he should have just come on and we could talk about it since we hadn't had him on in a while.
We should have him on. We could argue about it. That'd be great.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily disagreeing with what he said at all, but it's interesting, man. 79
comments.
Yeah, he got quite a few on there.
Nice.
Look at Buzz is just on a roll today. Athletic ability is different. That's 100%.
Buzz is smart. He agrees with me.
Yeah, that's
or I agree with him, but whatever.
Should we go back to the fight card?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Or do people really want to hear us talk a little more?
I got Jillian Roberts winning her fight.
I think she gets it done too by submission.
Via submission. Dang it, Jason. Don't cut me off and steal my thunder.
Sorry.
That's what I was going to say. And if you were going to say second round, I'll risk Corona and I'm going to come get you.
I will say, if we're going by our normal podcast guidelines on this one, Poliana would probably be my pick in this fight.
Are you serious?
I'm a fan of the Tapology.
Oh,
but I think Robertson gets it done.
Robertson gets it done in the cage. Poliana does it for you outside the cage. Got it.
Well, you said it, Zach, not me.
No, but I was interpreting for you.
My wife went to the store. She's not listening. We're good.
For those that don't know, I'm interpreting for Jason what he means. Julian to win the fight. Polina's all body team. We'll leave it at that.
She has the better Tapology pick. Let's just put it that way.
Not that matters.
No. So, next fight. Gamrot. What do you think about this Gamrot guy, man? He's 17-0. He was the KSW featherweight and lightweight champion of that promotion. Which I think is over in Poland, if I'm not mistaken.
It's probably sounds about right.
It's his UFC debut.
But he trains at American Top Team.
And he trains at American Top Team. This is both of these guys' UFC debut. I just think the upside of Gamrot is going to be I like him. I like him to win this fight. I like what he's done. What's the odds on that one?
Minus 300 plus.
This guy
he's favored for a reason. He's a killer. He trains at a top tier gym, at a big gym, which is I like to see for UFC debut guys because that means he's training with UFC fighters. He's got the resume. Yeah. I mean
this other guy, I
don't like a lot of underdogs on this card, to be honest.
Yeah, that was something that because we recorded yesterday too. And I think everybody was pretty much in line with all the favorites. I don't think we were really going against any. This next fight should be super interesting. Thomas Almeida and Jonathan Martinez.
It's interesting, but I got my man Almeida.
You think Almeida gets it done?
Yeah, and I picked that before I knew the odds, and he is a slight favorite. But I think that Almeida is, he at one point he was undefeated before Cody put his lights out,
Yeah.
and he's had a rough go, but he's also been fighting killers. Jimmy Rivera's no picnic, Rob Font no picnic. He's fighting top tier guys, and once you fight top tier guys, you're going to run into some problems. And the names on Martinez's resume and a little bit less experienced, quite a bit, like almost half the fights less, right?
Yeah.
I like Almeida, and I like what he brings to the table, and I think he could get back on the winning side of things and go on a little run now. Like he's took it a huge step forward, then he took his couple steps back, and I think he's ready for a push.
I think this one's going to be fireworks.
It's going to be a great fight.
I'm a leaning Almeida, but this Jonathan Martinez is no joke.
I don't think
it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think Almeida gets it done.
I lean Almeida as well. Next fight up is Claudio Da Silva against James Krause, who's filling in on short notice.
I don't know what the odds are, but I'm taking James Krause. I'm always betting on James Krause. He's like a poor man's Dustin Poirier.
This could be fight of the night.
Oh, for sure.
Because Silva is come forward, throwing blow, like he pushes the pace. I think you're probably fight of the night on this one. Well, until you get to the main event. That's the only other one on here that I could see stealing the thunder on that. So you're all over James Krause on that one?
Yeah, I don't know who the favorite. I don't know what the odds are, but I love James Krause.
I think Krause is a slight favorite. Last I checked, slight favorite. I don't think
he is. Yes, he is.
Which that says a lot. Like he's coming in taking a short notice fight, and he's the favorite now too.
He's a freaking gangster, dude.
Oh yeah.
He is a gangster, and he fights. He bounces weight classes. Yeah.
Next up, Jimmy Crute and Bukauskas.
This is an interesting fight to me because both these guys are similar records, not a ton of experience, but I mean, look where they are in the card. Kind of tells you everything you need to know about what they think this fight's going to go like. It's going to be exciting, and they're trying to get some exposure to Jimmy Crute. He's a pretty big favorite.
I think Bukauskas, if he has a powerful jab. If he can, this is a big if he can keep the distance with his jab and his length, I think he has a shot. The problem is going to be when Crute goes in, shoots, or gets him up against the cage and gets him down on the ground. That's Bukauskas' downfall. I think that's what's going to be his downfall in this fight.
And we're seeing a lot of success from these Dana White Contender Series guys. And he's a Contender Series guy.
Yeah,
knock the dude out. Beat Paul Craig, who's no joke. Beat him by a Kimura. Holds a win over somebody like Sam Alvey, who had more than four times the amount of fights that he did.
Yeah,
he's ready for this, and he's ready to be. He's getting a little bit of a push right now, and I think we're going to see him go on a nice little run here.
Yeah, Craig. He lost to Krause. Lost his last one to Trevin Giles,
which I believe was up a weight class and short notice as well.
Yeah, that was back in February too.
And if I remember right, it was a bad decision.
I don't remember that fight, honestly.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
You know who he's got on there on his record. He was Ultimate Fighter season 25 guy. He beat Ramsey on that Ultimate Fighter season. That was the one Ramsey was on. I knew you knew that.
It's crazy. I mean, James Krause, and I said it yesterday on the podcast with Mitch. I think Ramsey. I think Ramsey's like he's right. Skill for skill, he's as good. He could beat anybody. Anybody. He's a 155er, right? Normally, Ramsey.
Yes.
Dude,
yes.
I think he's right there. He could hang with any of the guys 10 through 15 in the lightweight division. I mean, skill for skill, he's sick. And so you can hold a win over somebody like Ramsey and Najim. Like, hey,
we have some serious competitors here in the state of Utah. Like I think a lot of people outside of Utah probably look at Utah like those guys are nothing, and we have some athletes out here.
Yeah, I mean, there's people here that they're gonna make big names for themselves.
You just watch that November 14th card, and you're going to see a handful of them.
It's coming.
Next up, we have Jessica Andrade against Caitlin Chukadian.
Good job.
Did I say it right?
I think so.
Chukadian. Who do you like in that one? This is Andrade is going up to 125.
So Jessica Andrade did 7 fights at 135 before there was a 115 division.
Yep.
She went 4-3. She did her next 10 fights, I believe, at strawweight or strawweight at 115. Became the champ, went 7-3 and became the champion.
Yep.
First fight at 125. She could be. I could see her running all the way straight up to the top to fight Valentina in a fight or two.
You think so?
Yeah.
You're picking her. You're picking her to win.
Yeah, there's not a ton of girls that have the ability to put somebody's lights out with one punch or a slam. She does. And she's good everywhere.
She is good everywhere. I'm leaning Andrade on this one as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chukadian ekes out a close decision with her. If she can keep her at range, because she has the kickboxing, she could. She did show a little bit of wrestling in her last fight with Antonia.
Yeah.
Nina.
Yeah. No, I get that, but widely regarded, I think that Rose Namajunas has some of the slickest striking as anybody in the female, all the weight classes. I think she's top 5, and she was touching Andrade a lot early on.
She was, yeah.
The most impressive thing to me about that fight was Andrade really came on in the 3rd round, and she figured out some timing things, and she started touching Rose a lot. And that's something that Joanna couldn't even do, right?
Yeah.
Like Joanna never really caught up to Rose and couldn't figure that out. But Jessica Andrade did. To me, that speaks volumes about the skill level that Jessica Andrade brings to the table on the feet. And obviously, she's good grappler as well. Like I think Jessica Andrade, I agree with Craig Young on this. I think Valentina is a different breed. I think pound for pound, she's the best fighter in the world right now. But I think Jessica Andrade would be a worthy opponent to challenge her for her title, because I don't think she's really had a close fight in a long time.
I love her aggressiveness, like her just straightforward.
That's what I think gets it done in this fight.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, she's tough.
Let's talk about the main event, baby.
Our first one that I think we differ on.
I think we're going to differ on this one, man. I always try to see both sides of the coin, but I know you're all over T-City. Tell us why, Zach. Why are you all over T-City on this one?
Because he's a winner. It's all he does is win.
Well, except for his last fight.
With arguably the greatest featherweight of all time.
The thing that worries me is how he lost his last fight, 1. And 2, he's the type of guy that he gets hit a lot. And that worries me. Like he almost is waiting for that hole to open up. And if the Korean Zombie fights smart enough and doesn't give him that opening, which I don't think he will, I think he's just gonna batter him, just like Holloway did.
So that's fair. I mean, it's a close fight, and that's fair.
And how does he look after it? I mean, he's coming off a 2-year layoff off of a fight that he got. Let's face it, he got worked in that fight.
Yeah, he wasn't ready, but I mean, this is a perfect fight for both of them to see who's ready and who isn't. If you're Brian Ortega, what do you think he's been doing for almost 2 years? What do you think he's been doing for almost 2 years?
I would think he's been training.
You know what I mean? I just don't know. I think and this is just my outward perspective. I don't know anything. I haven't really followed that closely what he's been up to.
Yeah.
But my thing is I've always understood him to be a smart guy, cerebral and stuff. And I think he realized how far that, hey, for me to be the best, that gap is really far right now. And I think he took the last year and a half plus and fixed things.
Yeah.
Got to different levels. You know, he's trained at Black House MMA in Southern California. He's I mean, widely regarded as one of the best jiu-jitsu players in male MMA.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he's T-City for a reason. That's Triangle City, dude. He's got the sickest triangle. And the way he choked out Cub Swanson, people forget that. If he grabs a hold of your neck, it's over. It's over. I've heard people like Brandon Schaub who are heavyweights that said, I've never felt a squeeze like Brian Ortega's. And, you know, and so it's this, I would imagine he's going to be up for it. I'm not saying that guarantees him a win, but I think we're going to see a significantly better version, specifically a significantly better striking from Brian Ortega, because at the end of the day, I don't think there's a featherweight on the planet that can hang with him on the ground besides maybe Ryan Hall. And because Ryan Hall's a different breed of ground player.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean Brian Ortega, and the other thing I've seen with Brian Ortega, dude's a killer. When he smells blood, he finishes. And I was in person, watched him do it to Frankie Edgar. And I'll never forget, he hit Frankie Edgar with a short elbow to the temple and stunned him. And the entire T-Mobile Arena went silent because the whole lead up to that fight was Frankie Edgar had never been stopped before.
Yeah.
How is he going to do it? Because nobody really thought that he could outpoint him for the whole thing. And he hit him with that elbow and stunned him. And then he sets up a beautiful uppercut and literally knocks him off his feet and knocks him out. I mean, he's a killer with a killer instinct. And I'm not trying to take away anything from Korean Zombie, but because he's had some amazing fights and some amazing wars. Again, mutual opponent with Cub Swanson, right?
And Frankie Edgar too, right?
And Frankie Edgar. Frankie took that fight on short notice too.
Yeah, he did.
He was already cutting down to 135 and took one final fight at 145. But anyways, I think that, man, I think that Ortega's a different level. He's that young breed I think he's that young breed, and he has his elite skill set is better, I think, than anything that Korean Zombie has. His jiu-jitsu, his skill level at jiu-jitsu is higher than any skill level that Korean Zombie has.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just worry about how he lost that last fight and mentally how he's going to come back. If he comes back and he beats Korean Zombie and it is impressive with it, I mean, you got to think he gets the next title shot. I mean, I think the winner of this, I think I've heard some people argue that if it's Ortega, he shouldn't get it, but if he wins, I don't see why he doesn't. You might see
the winner of Zabit and Yair get it too, though.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, that could be another one too. And to answer Craig's questions of where does it put if he loses, I still think he's top 10. I still think he's top 10 in that featherweight division. I don't think it does too much for him. But I'd like to see him be more active as well. Like he can't keep taking another two-year layoff like he did.
He won't. I mean, I think he just realized. I mean, the logical thing. I'll tell you what. If I got beat that bad, as badly, if I was getting beat so bad that my opponent literally stopped mid-fight, grabbed my hands, and showed me how to block punches properly, and then continued to beat the crap out of me. I mean, it would literally make me rethink whether I should still be fighting or not.
Yeah, and maybe that's why. Maybe he needed some time off to reflect that. I
guarantee when he comes back, he's coming back a better version of himself.
How awesome is that he shaved his hair?
He's a freaking gangster, dude. People forget, like, he grew up in the hood. Like, he is a baby blue-eyed killer, and he grew up with tough dudes, hard environment. Like, I don't think he's a mentally weak guy. I don't think you're going to see a Ronda Rousey situation where her world got shattered and mentally just broke. I don't see that with Brian Ortega. Yeah.
I mean, we're going to find out. I think the odds makers are giving Korean Zombie's he's such a big, he's basically what, a 2-1 favorite in that. Probably because of that layoff and the way he lost that last fight. But
he lost to like seriously one of the top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world at the time.
Here's the bet for this fight. If you
no.
can't pick, over 2.5 rounds.
Oh, for sure. The only way it goes under is if T-City locks up a submission.
Which I
don't think happens that early.
I think if you're on the fence on not wanting to pick one of these guys, like I am,
which is a coin flip, which by the way is like -110, so that means it's dead even coin flip.
If you're like me, you take the over 2.5.
Here, talk about some of your favorite bets real quick. Sorry, guys, I'm cutting weight, so you can talk with Craig.
Zach has to.
I'm drinking like a gallon and a half a day.
I mean, his last loss was awful. If he gets smashed again, where does that put him mentally? Yeah, I got you, Craig. I see where you're at on that one. We'll talk a little bit about some of my best bets. I definitely think over 2.5 rounds if you're a betting guy, over 2.5 in that main event. The co-main event, Zach like Andrade's to win. I actually think Chikuyan has a shot. I think it goes to a decision, and I'm going to take the underdog on that one. So I would definitely take the underdog on that one. I think Crute gets it done. I think you could possibly see a round 2 submission for Crute. Those are probably a couple of my good bets. There's not a bunch of big names on this card, but I still think you're going to see a lot of fireworks right off the bat. That fight with Claudio Da Silva and James Cross is going to be just straight fireworks. Thomas Almeida, Jonathan Martinez, straight fireworks on both of those fights. I'm just rambling.
Well, that's what I do when you have to pee. So thanks for covering me this time.
I probably should be drinking more water.
You probably should.
Yeah. I think I think we're going to see another good fight card on this one. I really do.
But here's the thing. I think we're going to see more finishes. You know, like on this card, like
more than last weekend.
No, I'm not saying more than last weekend. I'm saying like more are going to finish than go to a decision, which is fun, right?
Yeah.
We like to see that. There's a lot of favorites, and I want. That's what I think a lot of the favorites are going to win. I don't foresee a ton of upsets. I think some of the lines might be a little bigger than they should be.
Yeah.
But that just is what it is, and that's just part of it. But when's the last time the UFC's disappointed?
It hasn't. We kind of touched on it, but shout out to Brian Ortega. He shaved his head, donating at the weigh-ins, donated his hair to the Locks of Love for children undergoing chemotherapy. That's pretty awesome.
Shaved off those beautiful locks.
It's kind of the look in MMA right now. You notice that? All those guys that are getting their head shaved, Conor McGregor.
Dude, McGregor looks like a kid again with his beard, and
he looks huge. How about him and Poirier at 170?
Is that what it's going to be at?
I think that's what I saw. Let me go check my story again.
That doesn't make sense. Made him do 155. They're 155ers.
I'm 99% sure. What did Poirier say?
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Because what's his name? Connor's coach tweeted about
Kavanaugh.
it. Kavanaugh tweeted that he should be eating, eat a bunch over the holidays and come in nice and full. I like it.
I don't like that at 170. They're 155ers. They're fighting. That's basically a number one contender fight for 155.
Yeah, Craig, we're not topping last week's. That was highlight reel after highlight reel. Yeah, they are 155. I don't know. I gotta confirm that because I don't. You know what? Let me look. Let's see.
But you know what I mean? Like if that's a number one contender fight for the 155 belt.
No, that's not. It can't be that. Think it is?
Who else? Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler?
I don't know. What is it?
That's it.
Let's see if it's on. I don't really want to see either one of those guys. It just says rumored upcoming fight. It doesn't say what weight class. I could have sworn. Either way, 155. You're right. That's the play.
So Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, fight in the weight class that you're going for gold in.
Does either one of those guys even have a chance though? Like, I mean,
yes.
I don't think either one of them's going to. They're not. Either one of those guys are winning the belt.
I think that
Korean Zombie third.
All right. Jose Martinez, I appreciate your input, but I think you're wrong.
I like that because it's going to go to the third round and I'm going to win my bet.
Because we're degenerates, so that's all that matters. Dude, no, hear me out here.
Oh, look at Craig. Appreciate all the support, Craig, man. Thanks for listening.
How does Chandler do in the UFC? I think he's good. I think he's really good. I think you throw him right in there. I think Khabib, Gaethje, and then you have Conor, Poirier, Ferguson, and I think Michael Chandler is right there in that Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson circle.
I mean, you got to give him give him a top 5 guy. Give him Hooker, Felder, Ferguson.
Oh my gosh, him and Hooker would be sick.
Line him up, man. Let's get him in there. He's a proven fighter. It's not like he's some slouch.
He's not here to work his way up the ranks. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I definitely want to see KZ win. You know what, Anthony? I don't like you either now. You're wrong. You're wrong. No, Anthony's a good dude. Anthony came to sparring. We had a good time Wednesday night. Came and helped me with my Shark Tank. You know what? I think you're still underestimating Conor McGregor if there was a rematch with Khabib. I'm not saying it's a different outcome, but I think he has a better performance.
Well, we're just going to have to talk about that next week when we do our breakdown of Khabib.
Oh, is that next week already?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Who's the co-main event on that card?
Who cares?
I know. It
was supposed to be Poirier Ferguson.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at it now. Robert Whittaker, Jared Cannonier. Oh my gosh. Walt Harris, Alexander Volkov.
Yeah, that's a good fight too.
You have Ankalaev and Kutalaba for the 18th time. Sam Alvey's on this card. Dude, this pay-per-view is sick. The Cowboy Alex Oliveira's on this card. Yeah, this card next week is just, it's
Casey Kenny back on the undercard. Tai Tuivasa. Oh, Ty's against Steven Shrew. That's a really fun heavyweight fight.
That's a good fight, yeah.
That's a really fun heavyweight fight. Alex Oliveira. De Young Jung versus Sam Alvey.
De Young Jung.
You nailed that.
I've been working on my my Korean. Yeah, my Korean. I've been flowing.
It's good for you.
Phil Hawes is on this card.
Oh man.
Has Phil Hawes, is this his first UFC after the Contender Series win he had?
I believe so.
Yep. This is his first fight after his Contender Series. Man, dude, we talked about this with Steve just a second ago, but how awesome is it? We have local fights coming up with a stacked card of like 17 fights, 18 fights. We have UFC fights every weekend. Like, this is Charles Oliveira is the dark horse of the lightweight division. Charles Oliveira. Interesting.
You know, I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I don't hate that at all because I think he's good, but I don't see him getting past that elite top 5 group.
Craig, it's not smash, it's smash.
Craig,
it's an E.
Craig, you listen to me.
Zach's hating on Khabib, man.
You listen to me.
Dude,
America prevails next weekend and Justin Gaethje wins.
I would not be upset about that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would not be upset about
Gosh dang it, you freaking Marine. Like, stick up for your guy.
Oh, man. I just love Khabib, man. I keep watching all these replays. I just keep watching all these replays and all his press conferences. Did you see that face-off when him and Conor had their first face-off and he just stands there? He's just staring at him. It's like,
I mean, let's be honest. like, let's be honest, Nate Diaz was 100% right when he called out Conor McGregor, and he said, you want that real fight, not all those chumps that you beat before you ever step into the cage, but like,
Yeah.
And there is something to that. And I think that another part that I think that makes the rematch a little bit different is Conor knows he can't get into Khabib's head now.
Oh, he's not. No.
You know what I mean? Like, he tried his hardest, and he could not get Khabib. So now, save that energy. You don't have to talk all that. You just have to just go in there and fight. And I think when Conor's just focused on just fighting, I think it's closer.
Well, what's closer? He wins a round and a half.
Shut your mouth. You're so disrespectful.
I don't even think that.
You're so disrespectful.
Do you really think that fight even happens though? Like, are we?
Nope.
I mean, I don't think it does either. I just
Nope,
don't see.
I think Khabib. Realistically, if Khabib wins this fight, I think he fights GSP and it's over.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I really think that's why Conor and Poirier have agreed to fight, because both of them already know they're not getting a Khabib rematch.
Yeah. I like it.
Like that
The Dagestani monk. Nice, Anthony.
Anthony, you want to come train tonight, man? MMA gloves.
I don't know what this guy's talking. He didn't ask a question.
Question mark.
Oh, link to fight. Oh, which fight are you talking about? I don't know what fight he's talking about.
If he's asking for a link to the UFC fight, get ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus, sir. Get ESPN Plus, and you will be able to watch it.
I am not okay. So I'm going to get on my soapbox here a little bit.
Get on it.
I don't like people that rip off and stream fights. I don't like that. And I know my man Jackson Hoops is gonna. He may or may not do that. I don't like it. I've never done it, and I won't do it.
Because you like to support the fighters.
Yeah.
How much of that do you think goes back to them? Well, obviously the big fighters do. I'm broke. He said I'm broke. I got 12 kids.
Jeez, man.
You get you one of those Amazon Fire Sticks. Not that I'd know, and you can jailbreak it. But I just heard that through the grapevine. You didn't hear that from the Damage Plan MMA podcast.
I don't mean to be like a Karen about this or whatever, and I'm not going to go too hard.
You're a Karen. What's the male version of Karen?
I don't know, Craig, but
Tyler. Craig. Craig, you're the male version of Karen. Oh man.
No, I don't know. I just think that I feel like if viewership was down and all the people that like rip off, especially pay-per-views, like if you're ripping that off, you are taking away pay-per-view points from those big names, and they've worked hard to get to that point. And that ESPN Plus that, like, I don't know. I feel, I mean, I would say this. I think the UFC has done such a great job. And that was no pun intended, Craig. I'm sorry. But I'm still salty about you, though. Oh man, who did you call was a brawler like Mike Perry that I didn't think was fair? I can't remember. But
Craig is going to go live this Saturday night in Flint at the bar to try to record us a bar fight, just to let you know.
Dope. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I want to see it.
Oh, he's got crazy live videos. I'm just telling you right now, he has some crazy live videos.
I can't remember which guy that you said was a brawler like Mike Perry. But I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But I'm just saying. But you know what I'm saying? Like when you stream it and you rip them off. Hey, thank you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
When you stream it and you rip it off, I understand that it's expensive or whatever, but yeah, ESPN Plus is super cheap and affordable. It's $10. You can stream it on your phone. It's $10 a month. Not even $10 a month.
Yeah, the ESPN Plus is well worth it. Well worth it.
And even if it's on regular ESPN, you still get all it's on ESPN Plus too.
Yep.
And they put it on there, and then it's just the pay-per-views. And it's like, you know what? There's one pay-per-view a month. Like I just don't. I do. If it really doesn't interest you that much, don't watch it. But if you're a UFC guy that watches all the fights and you're a guy, man, support the fighter. Let's support the fighters. You ripping it off is the only way that gives the UFC justification not to pay these guys more. That they can stand on. They're not paying to watch you. We're not gonna pay you to be watched. You know what I mean? So
yeah, there just gives them more ammunition.
And I'm all for the fighters getting paid. I want them to get paid,
as they should.
Just to get off my soapbox. I mean, I know I'm not. You know what? I mean, I lied. I did it one time. Ronda Rousey won in like 13 seconds. I did not pay $60 because I knew nobody could last with Ronda Rousey. And that's when I was very brand new into becoming a UFC fan. I'm like, man, I want to watch the Ronda Rousey fight, but I don't want to pay $60 for something that could last under a minute. And I was like, I don't know. And I'm like, I hop on Periscope and find somebody that's streaming it. And I did that. But now I watch them all, dude, I pay for every single one.
That's very valid
right.
point.
It was Cody Garbrandt. Craig, yeah, that's right. Craig said Cody was a brawler, and Cody is a technical boxer with a very good amateur boxing record, and he's a All-American. I think he was a high school All-American wrestler as well. Very good wrestling background, and he has skill. Mike Perry's a brawler. And I don't think it's fair to compare their skill sets. I stand by that. But I appreciate the opinions and the comment and the interaction, Craig.
Mike, obviously being from Flint, as Craig and I are both from Flint, I think he's kind of losing his Flint town man card with all his shit he's been tweeting lately.
Whoa!
I'm just saying, you can't say he's from Flint anymore. He's just kind of acting like what's the word people are using nowadays? Simp, is that the word?
Is he a simp?
He's a simp.
South Florida simp. Has Florida made him soft?
I think so. I think Florida's made him a little soft.
Man, can we get this a snippet and just tweet this at him?
Don't let Jorge Masvidal hear me say that.
Can we snip that and send it to we'll send it to Darren Till.
If you guys aren't following Darren Till, go follow that guy on Instagram. He's hilarious.
Darren Till and Mike Perry is the greatest thing on MMA social media right now.
Till putting his head on Mike Perry's girlfriend's body is just oh man, I love it. Love it.
So good. Well,
yeah, I guess we should wrap it up for today.
Thank you.
Or do you have more to talk about?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go lay down. I'm tired. The Rona's kicking in. That's why
man. I got to come see you to pick up some damage plan gear to sell to some dudes at our gym, though.
All right. When you want to come down?
Probably this weekend sometime.
All right. Let me know. I got your shirt too from Cherie's. The in-laws sent you the Team Alpha Male shirt.
So anybody, just so you know, if anybody wants some damage plan apparel, our website is down right now, and we're going to be revamping it here for this winter season. But if you do want some stuff, we do have stuff, and it's gonna. And Jason, we can hook that up.
Hey. Real quick, if you guys are listening that are fighting on November 14th and you need help with getting shirts or banners, hats, if you need any of that stuff done, hit one of us up and we'll get you guys taken care of for that. We haven't really touched on that with a lot of these guys, but
if they need it, we're here for the fighters. I mean, heck, we hooked up my opponent. He got some stuff.
He got a bunch of swag. He got six shirts and hats and
a bunch of swag.
We don't discriminate here at the Damage Plan MMA podcast.
All
right, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the interaction. Thank you, guys.
My coach is calling me.
Peace.
Peace.